Hi, this is Maria from Crochet A to Z, and welcome to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please push that subscribe button, and if you have, I want to welcome you. I want to welcome everyone for being here. I also want to say Happy New Year. Hope you had a wonderful New Year, and I hope this year brings you peace, love, and happiness, and have a healthy one as well. And we're going to crochet together for another project. And for those of you that are new to crochet, I welcome you here and let you know that this is a safe zone. We take our time. I'm visual. I like to show these patterns visually so that you can learn it. You can take your time. You can write it down. You can do whatever you need to do at whatever pace you need to go. So beginner to advanced, you're all welcome here in our community. So thank you. And again, welcome to Crochet A to Z and Happy New Year. So today I want to show you, and I guess it's not too early, right? I want to show you how to do this great hearts stitch. And it is an offset heart stitch. So when I say that this row of hearts, and then it offsets on the next row. So it's like almost in between the row from before. I'm going to show you how to do this. It's easy. And crocheters from advanced to beginners, this is a great stitch. I'm going to take my time. I want to show you how to do it. I think you're going to love this stitch. And let's get started. So I am using an H hook. So I want to show you that. What you're going to need also is a scissors. Keep one on hand. Now I want to mention on one side, and I'm going to zoom this out. On one side what I did is I cleaned up the edges. But on this side I didn't, because I wanted to show you that that's what you're going to get. So as you go along, as you do each row, if you want to clean your edges as you go along, you can. But I wanted to show you that you're going to have, because we're changing colors, so you're going to have this thing going on with all these sticking out until you weave them in, and you can weave them as you go. What can you make with this stitch? You can make a lot of things. You can make a nice baby blanket. You can make an Afghan. You can make a nice scarf. You can make a shawl, and I'm sure there's many other things you can make. And if someone knows or wants to say what you would make with this, please feel free. You could actually even make a bookmark. You can make a lot of things with this. You could make a bag and line the inside of it. There's a lot of things you can do with this, and I'm going to show you just how. So what we did, or should I say what I did, is I used a red, because these are your little hearts, and I used a light, like a light pink, and these are Lion Brand yarns. But for this tutorial, this is a Lion Brand red, and I'm also going to use a Red Heart Super Saver yarn. And this is a white, and they're both of the same weight. So they're both for medium weight yarns. I want to mention that as well. And let's get started, and I'm going to show you just how great this stitch is. So we're going to start, and like I said, we're going to use an H hook. And what we have to do with this, and we're going to start with the white. And what we have to do is we have to do multiples of 6. So it's 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 until you get to your desired length of whatever it is you're going to make. Afghan, baby blanket, like I said, a shawl, you know, a really nice scarf for Valentine's Day. So let's just think of this as Valentine's Day is coming and we're getting ready for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the slip knot. And once we start with our slip knot, like I said, we're going to crochet multiples of 6 plus 6 plus 6, except at the very end, when you get to your length, you're going to add 32 more chains. So I'm going to do 32 chains. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. These are your chains, and they look like V's. This is your working chain, not considered a chain. And at the very end is your slip knot, also not considered a chain. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a V-stitch in the 6th chain from this hook. And again, I go slow so you can follow along. You can write it down. You can take your yarn out, do it with me. Whatever you want to do. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I always like to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to do a double crochet. Now, after we do that double crochet, we're going to chain 1 because that is going to be your V-stitch. For anyone that has never crocheted before and you're learning this stitch brand new, this is your V-stitch. I'm going to go in a little bit just to show you. Here's your double crochet. So now what we're going to do is we chained 1 and we're going to go right back into that same spot and do another double crochet. And that is your V stitch, and it looks exactly like a V with a chain 1 in the middle. Now we're going to skip 1, 2 chains, and we're going to go into that 3rd one, and we're going to do another V stitch. So we're going to do a double crochet, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do another double crochet. Now we're going to skip 1, we're going to skip 2, and we're going to do another double crochet, 1, 2, in this next stitch right here. And we're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, and do another double crochet in that same spot, and this equals your V stitch. I'm going to show it to you. That's what it looks like. You're going to skip 2 again, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're going to go in here and you're going to make a double crochet, and you're going to chain 1, and you're going to make another double crochet, and that's going to count as your V stitch. It is your V stitch. And I'm going to just pull that yarn, and we're going to do this right across, and we're going to continue to make V stitches right across. Chain 1, go right in the same spot, one, 2. If you're new to this, don't let it intimidate you. You can do this. Chain 1, and like I said, I go slow so you can follow along. You can write it down, you can do it with me. No problem. Tomorrow you'll say, oh, I'm going to stop at the yarn store. I think I'm going to make that Afghan and give it away as a gift. Or I think I'm going to make myself an Afghan. Another thing that would be good with this pattern is a pillow. A pillow. So, and you could line the inside of it. And you can have a Valentine's Day pillow. 1, 2, and another V stitch. Double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet right back in that same stitch. Now 1, 2, same thing, V stitch, chain 1, right back in there. Now you're going to have 2 chains left. In that very last chain, you're going to do a double crochet right there. And these are your V stitches. I'm going to pull that out a little bit so you can see it. And this is what you're looking at. This is what we just did right here. We did this bottom half. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change yarn. And what I'm going to do is we're going to change colors. And quite honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this, because what I want to do is I want to strengthen my edges. I want to make sure that this doesn't come apart. So I am going to pull this through. Now, I don't have to do that, but I like to do this in something like this, especially if you're going to use this every day. If you make a scarf for someone, I just want to mention, you can put a border on this. And you can get all your edges in on a border. You can do that if you like. I just want to mention that as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my other color. And I'm making this, it's going to be a little tight because, like I said, I want to reinforce that because I want to be able to know that that's not going to come apart, because then I'm going to put my, put all of those in and weave those all in. And you can tighten this up a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, 2. So let me go back. I'm going to add this right here. And I'm going to just add it. And then I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. And those will be all weaved in. And then we turn our work. So now what's going to happen is once we do that, we're going to turn our work. We chained 3 and right here. And we're going to go into this first V stitch. And I'm going to show you where we are. We're right here. So this is where we did our chain 3. And we're going to, like I said, we turned our work. And we're going to go right into this first V stitch. And we're going to make a cluster. So let me show you what you're going to do. You're going to yarn over. You're going to go into this first V stitch and you're going to pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over. You're going to pull through these 2. You're going to yarn over. You're going to go in again and you're going to pull up a loop. You're going to yarn over. You're going to pull through 2. You're going to yarn over. You're going to pull through 3. And I'm going to show you, this is what we did right here. So this is what we did right here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go right back in that V and we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over. We're going to pull through 2. So it's almost like, it's not almost, it is. We're not finishing that double crochet. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go back in here and we're going to pull that up, yarn over. we're going to pull through 2, we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. And that's considered and is our first heart. Now what's going to happen, and I'm going to show you right here, here's a V-stitch right here. There's a heart here and there's a V-stitch. We're going to skip that V-stitch. So what's going to happen is we're going to skip this V-stitch. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to skip this V-stitch, and we're going to go to this one. We're going to go in here, and we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Now we're going to chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. And we're going to go back in here and do another cluster. So we're going to yarn over, go back in here and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over, we're going to pull through 2. We're going to yarn over, we're going right back into that V-stitch, and we're going to do another cluster, and we're going to pull it up, yarn over, and we're going to pull through 2 and yarn over and pull through 3. And there it is. And there's your little bridge, but that's your little heart. Now we're going to do this again. We're going to skip this V-stitch and we're going to go into the next one. But always remember, before you do that, you're going to chain 1. You're going to yarn over. We're going to skip this one, and we're going to go right in here and make our cluster. Okay, so here we go again. I'm going to show you. We're going to go in, yarn over, skip this, go in here, make our cluster. See this? And we're going to not finish it. We're going to yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over. We're going to pull through those 2. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through all of those. Now we're going to chain 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go back in here and make another cluster. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. Okay. Go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all of them. Now, pull that away. We're going to skip this. We're going to go to the next V. We're going to pull up that loop. Yarn over, go in that one, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. You see it? Going to go back in, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. You're going to pull through all 3. You're going to chain 1, 2, 3. We're going to make our bridge. Yarn over, go right back in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Now, we're going to skip this one again. Don't forget, we're going to chain 1. Let me go out here again. And remember, once you've done this, you got to chain 1 and go skip that one, go right in here and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, yarn over, go back in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Making our little bridge. Skip this one, chain 1, yarn over, go right in here, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go back in, and we're going to just continue. And we're going to chain 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, go back in here, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And we're going to go back and we're going to go in the top of this. So I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, and on the top of this chain 3, I'm going to make a double crochet. And there's the hearts, but you're going to really see it come true. So I want to show you, we did this row and we did this row. Now what we're going to do is repeat making our V's, because we did this part and then we did this. Now we got to go back to doing the V's above here. So what we're going to do again, we're going to change colors. So I'm going to cut this away. And like I said, I like to do this because I like it. I have some friends that just let that go and then they weave it in, but I like to make that closure so I know that's not going to come apart. Everybody does everything differently. This is the way I like to make this. So now we're going to get our white again. And I'm going to attach it again here. We can weave in our ends at the end. If you want, you can weave your ends in as you go. That's up to you. So I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to make sure it's attached well. And then what I'm going to do is chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. Going to turn my work around. And now I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to do a V stitch in here. So we're going to go in, pull up a loop, and do a double crochet. Then we're going to do a chain 1, do a double crochet. Now, we're going to do this right across in every V, but also in the chain 1. So here we are right here. So what we're going to do is we made our first V. We don't have to chain 1. And we're going to go right in here and make another V stitch. Chain 1 and go back in and make your other double crochet, and the chain 1 in the middle makes your V stitch. It helps form the V. So now in the next one, we're going to do a double crochet, a chain 1, and another double crochet. And we're going to continue to do this to the very end. So we're going to go in the next chain 1 space, and we're going to do a double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet right in the same spot. And we're going to do our V stitch right across next space where what I called our bridge. We're going to make a double crochet. I just want to pull that out because I split the yarn. I don't want to. So we're going to do that. Chain 1 and go right in here and we're making our double crochets with the chain 1 in the middle, and it makes it a V stitch. And I'm going to show you your V stitch. So now we're going to go into the next one, and we're going to make the next V stitch. So your V stitches have a chain 1 in the middle. Your clusters have a chain 3 in the middle. So we're going to do a chain 1, and we're going to make another to make our V stitch. And we do it in every spot across. So again, we're doing our V stitches in where the single crochet is and where your where your chain 1 is and where your chain 3 is. So you're going to go in every spot. Now we're going to chain 1, and we're finishing off our V stitches. And this is what it looks like right across. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That is so pretty. Now what we're going to do is right here, we're going to make a double crochet at the top of that stitch. And that's what it looks like. I want to show it to you in the 2. Isn't that pretty? So now we're going to cut this. Now, if you wanted to make this all one color, you can. I want to just say that again. But you won't get that same look of that heart. That's the difference. So I want to mention that as well. So I'm going to cut this. And I always like to, like I said, I like to do this because of the fact that we're changing colors so much. I want to know that that's not going to come apart. So now, so we've done row 1, row 2, row 3, right here. And we're going to do row 4. So we're here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to just mention something. In row 4, there's a little variant, and you're going to find that every other row of your hearts, you make one row of hearts, the next row of hearts is going to be a little bit different. Then the next row of hearts will be like this one. But then the next row will be like this one. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let me just go in here and show you. So now we're going to add our color again. And chain 1, 2, 3. So now we're going to turn our work once we chain 1, 2, 3. Now this is where it's different. What you're going to do in this first space, we're going to make a cluster, but it's going to be not the full cluster, just a half a cluster. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over. And in this first space, we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And that's where it ends. Because you can't have a bulky because of this row, the 4th row. So you're going to find that you're going to do, and I just want to mention this, your next row is going to be after this, your V's right across, And then the next row of your hearts is going to be like this. And then after that, the next row is going to be of your V's. And then the next row of hearts is going to start like this with this cluster, with this half cluster. So now what's going to happen is after you do that, you're going to chain 1. You're going to yarn over. You're going to skip this first cluster. I should say this first V-stitch. And I want you to see that your cluster is below it for your heart. But you're going to skip this one and you're going to go into this next V. And you're going to make your cluster. Okay, I'm going to show you. Now we're going to make another cluster in that same spot. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3. Now what we're going to do is going to go right back in there and we're going to make another cluster. So we're going to yarn over, go right back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So I want to show you, this is what I mean by your heart is going to be so your heart, this next heart is not above this one. So it's going to be every other. So you're going to notice, now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to skip this right here, V, because you're not going to make a heart above that next V. You're going to make it in the next V. So you're going to go in here and you're going to yarn over, like I said, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So it's every other. So you're going to chain 1, 2, 3. So now you're going to make your cluster in the same spot, pull up, and you're going to make your next cluster in that same spot. So think of it as 2 clusters in one spot. So there you go. And if you look at this closely, and I'm going to go in close so you can see it, it's every other. So here's this, it's up here now. So it's in between 2 hearts. There's your next heart, it's in between 2 hearts. Now you're going to skip this one, you're going to go in between, and you're going to be in between the 2 hearts. So, all right, so we're going to go back and we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip this V and we're going to go in here and make our next cluster. And we're going to make our bridge. 1, 2, 3. We're going to go back in here and make another cluster. And see, our hearts are starting to come through. What better thing after a new year to make hearts? Chain 1. And we're going to skip this V and we're going to go into the next one because we want to go, think of it as side saddle. We want to go to the side of that one because we want to go in the middle of these 2 hearts. So we're going to go in and do our cluster, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. We're going to make another cluster right in that same spot because we're making a heart. So we're going to skip this one. In this very last spot, there's your chain 3. We're going to go inside here and we're going to make our cluster, our half cluster. Just think of it as your half cluster. It's not a full heart cluster, it's just a half. And let me show you again. This is your full cluster. So I want to show you what I mean by that. So there's two together, 2 double crochets together, 2 double crochets together. This is your half cluster in the beginning that we made. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to do our half cluster in here. So let me go out again and let me say yarn over, go in this spot, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, go back in here, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And that's your half cluster. Chain 1, and then in the top of this chain 3, we are going to do a double crochet. I crochet very tightly, so I just want you to know that. Everybody crochets different, doesn't mean that it's wrong. So this is what it looks like. So this is what I'm talking about. Now what's going to happen is you're going to do your full, excuse me for that. You're going to do your full, I'm going to just move this so you can see it better. Your full row of V's. And then your next row of hearts is going to be your full hearts right across. And then you're going to do your V's, and then your next row is going to be like this row. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change color again. So again, that's why you need all the tools of the trade right nearby. So you can do this, and I make this because then I like to know that it's tight. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get our white again. Whatever color you want to make this in, absolutely make it whatever color you want, because this is your creation. What's nice about crochet is you can do whatever you want, however you want, and make it your own. So don't be afraid to dabble with different colors, so that you do whatever it is you want. So I'm going to put that right on. And then I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to turn my work. So I'm going to show you that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go in every stitch and we're going to make a V stitch. So we're going to go right across and make our V stitches. And I'm just going to pull this tail out of here so it doesn't make me nuts, because it will. So now what we're going to do, and we don't chain 1 after we do this, we don't have to. We're going to go right in this chain 1 and we're going to make a V stitch. And your V stitch is acquired by making a double crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet. Now we're going to go into this where your cluster is, and we're going to make a V stitch. Chain 1, go right back in there, make another double crochet, equals your V stitch. In this chain 1, we're going to make a double crochet. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to make another double crochet. If you haven't subscribed yet, please push that subscribe button. If you have, thank you. And if you haven't pushed the like button, please do. It helps the algorithms, and it helps everything get out there. So I would appreciate it if you push the like button as well. So now we're going to do our double crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So don't forget that when you do your V stitches, it goes right across and it goes in every spot. It goes in the middle of your hearts, because that's what brings out that heart. and it goes on where you have your chain 1. So every spot, every open spot gets done. So now we're going to go right in here and we're going to make our V-stitch. And we're going to do this right across in here. Where the chain 1 is, again, you're going to make a V-stitch. And I go slow so that you can follow along, because I want to make these stitches, I want to make beginners able to make these. I want you to feel comfortable enough to do it. That's why I go slow. I'm visual, and I think that it helps for beginners and everybody alike. I just want you to do this and love crochet and not feel intimidated by it. That's my goal. I don't want you to be intimidated and feel like I can't do this. Yes, you can. So now what we're going to do is just go to the very, very end, because this is your cluster below. We don't have to do anything here. We're going to just do right in here at the top of that chain. We're going to do a double crochet. So there's your hearts. So this is row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. So now I'm going to do this very last row with you again. And I'm going to cut this with my very sharp scissors. And they are very sharp. So here it is. And like I said, if you wanted to make a border here, you could. You could make a nice border. Single crochet, maybe double crochet, or something that you choose that you like. You can do that. If you want me to do a tutorial with the border, let me know and I will put one together for you. I'll be happy to do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab and add a beautiful red. 1. And again, I want, in case I went off a little bit, because I want to make sure you saw what I did. One, 2, 3. Turn your work. Now, in this very first stitch, I want you to remember, we're just going to go here, because this is where we did our, right here, this is where we did our cluster, our 2 cluster. So now what we're going to do is, we did a chain 3. We're going to skip. We're not going to do a cluster here. We're going to go right in here. And I'm going to pull it up because we're going to go every other. So because you did your cluster here, we're going back to this row where we did. And we're going to go right here. I want you to see right here. And we're going to do our cluster, which equals our heart. Let me put it that way. Our cluster equals our heart. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. And we're going to go back in and do our second cluster. So this is where I want to show you. And I'm going to go in close. This is where we made and we added our new color, our chain 3, and we did our cluster then we did chain 3, and we did our cluster. Then we did all our V's, and in this next row we did our chain 3 and our 1 cluster, and then we went into the next, and then we skipped this V, and we did our clusters, which equals our heart. Now, because we did that cluster, we don't have, at the beginning, the 1 cluster, we don't have to do it, because we're going to do what we repeated here. We're going to go up here and do our full heart. Then we're going to skip one and then go to the next one, because we want our hearts to be every other spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to skip this V-stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to go out a little bit so you can see it, and skip this V-stitch, and we're going to go into this one, and we're going to make a heart. So we're going to do our clusters, which equals our hearts. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. Now we're going to go back in there, and we're going to make our second half of our heart and our second cluster. So now see what I mean? There's your full heart. There's your half cluster to start this row. And there's your full heart again. So every other row of red, so this one is a full heart, that starts with the half cluster. This one's a full heart, you'll do your V's, and then the next one will start with this again. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I'm doing it so that you know where you have to go in your next, if you do this. So chain 1, always chain 1 when you're doing your hearts. Skip this V-stitch, and in your next V, you do your heart. Right? So again, skip this V after you've done this heart. You skip this V, and then you go in here and you start your next cluster. And then you chain 1, 2, 3. Then you go right back in here and you do your second half of your heart, which is your second cluster. And see every other? This is called your offset hearts. They're offsetting each other in each row. So now you're going to chain 1, and you're going to go, and you're going to skip this V, and you're going to go in the next one, and you're going to make your next heart. So you're going to make, again, you're going to skip this V, and you're going to make your next half of a cluster. You're going to chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, and then you're going to make your other cluster in the same spot. Now, could you mistake it and make a half double crochet and not realize? Yes, you can, and I'm going to show you. I've actually been wanting to. So you're going to skip this V, and you're going to go in the next one, but you're not going to do that until you chain 1. And now we're going to go in here. So suppose you do this. You can kind of tell because it's not going to give you that V look. So you can tell. So I just want to let you know that. So let me finish it off, and so you'll see what I mean. 1, 2, 3. Because this is it's easy to do that because I've done it. You're in a hurry, you're going fast, you're not thinking. Is it a big difference? Not really. But you will see that it looks longer. It just gives it a different look. So all you have to do, no worries, because you'll realize when you're doing it, because you'll get to your second or third one and say, oh, wait a minute, that was not a cluster, that was double crochets. So you yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop in the same spot, yarn over, go back in, pull up a loop, same spot, yarn over, pull through, and you're done. So there it is there. So now chain 1. You're going to skip that. I know you're at the end, but you're going to skip it, and you're going to go right up in here, and you're going to make your double crochet. And there's your hearts. And you're going to continue with all your V's. And again, like I said, your V stitches, every one across, just like you did below, every one across. And again, so now we finished this row off, and then you're going to do your V stitches. So the next row up, when you do your hearts, you're going to repeat this. So you're going to start, you're going to do a chain 3, turn your work, and you're going to start with 1 cluster, chain 1, and then do your regular hearts until you get to the end, and then you're going to do your half cluster again, and then a double crochet. So this is what it looks like, and you can weave in all your ends. If you want to make it in a different color, you can. If you want, whatever you want to do to make this, you can. And here's your hearts. Aren't they pretty? They're just so pretty. It's just a pretty, pretty pattern. And don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to make it your own. You don't have to use the colors I used. Use whatever yarn you want and whatever colors you want. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please feel free to like, and please feel free to join and subscribe. And this is Maria from Crochet A to Z. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I want to wish you a very happy, healthy, prosperous new year. And thank you all for being here. And we're going to start crocheting some really, really interesting and great patterns. So continue to join me as we go forward and enjoy all the holidays that are coming and all of the patterns that are coming with it. Thank you, and have a great day. Bye-bye.